Hi students, I'd like to talk with you a little bit about stimulating the brain. How much is enough? What you're looking at here are images of slices of the cerebral cortex of children who died at these various ages. So these are after an autopsy, and it's looking at neural connections in the brain. As you can see, there's many more connections by 2 years of age than there is at birth. What accounts for these connections? Both maturation, which means things that happen regardless of experience. Just because you age, there's going to be some developing of neural connections. But also what we're learning is that experience really shapes the brain as well. And before we talk a little bit more about that, I do want to say that the brain also knows that more isn't always better. And so after this initial proliferation of neural connections in the first 2 years of life, the brain undergoes pruning, which means it gets rid of some of the neural connections that either are not used or perhaps are not needed. And that makes the brain more efficient so that the neural pathways that are used can be done so more efficiently. Now we know, unfortunately, from the very sad example of children raised in orphanages, such as those in Romania, we know that the brain cannot develop properly without adequate stimulation. These children are not held or rocked or sung to or read to, and they show severe developmental delays in most cases. And these brain scans show a comparison of a neurotypical brain and environmentally deprived brain. I would argue that you don't even need to go to orphanages to find some examples of this. Right here in the United States, we have abused and neglected children whose brains probably look quite similar to the ones on the right. Okay, so if we want to stimulate brain development in the first 2 years of life, what do we do? What kinds of experiences do we want to provide? And another key question is, how much stimulation do we provide? The toy culture has picked up on this research about neural connections and really run with it. And unfortunately, what we found is that toys such as Baby Einstein products are not necessarily the key for proper brain development. Parents are relying too much on just playing the tape over and over and over for their children and assuming that their children are going to learn language or other concepts as a result. And the research is just finding that is not the case. Even worse, some parents have decided that younger is better and more is better, and they're putting their 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds into academic programs, music programs with an emphasis on outcome and other kinds of stimulation that's just too much for young children. Believe me, I'm a strong supporter of music programs, but it needs to be fun for the children. The result of a lot of these programs is the kids either have other parts of their development are ignored because there's such a strong push for the academics. So they may not develop social skills, for example. And in some cases, they may just undergo stress. They may show higher cortisol in their blood systems because they're under so much pressure at a young age. So to conclude, what should we do? These are some examples. And remember that the bottom line is to make it fun.